It's time for Apple Farm Chatter, your podcast for all things Apple Farm Service, the latest ag news, dealership events, and upcoming trends. Put on your work clothes. Apple Farm Chatter begins now.
Welcome back to Apple Farm Chatter. Kent Holmes here, and I'm actually surrounded by some of the guys here that helped out with our New Holland hay clinics that we had this, the second week of the sale. So surrounding me, Garen Ingalls from New Holland, who is the hay and forage specialist. Hey, Garen, how are you?
All right, good. You?
Good. We got Wayne Crom, who is texting. He's not texting now. He is our parts rep here for New Holland.
Yes, thanks for inviting me to this hay meeting.
Yeah, no problem. And then we got Bryant Hennington, right?
Henningfeld.
He's with Harvest Tec, and we'll get into what Harvest Tec is as well. But to start off, we had these meetings, and everyone kind of a little bit that they presented about. So I guess, Garen, what did you cover during the meetings?
Yeah, so from the New Holland perspective, the one thing that we really covered that we started the presentation was the product support and how New Holland supports their products that their customers buy. And I started off, it's all about equipment and manufacturing, but if you can't back up the support of the product, then we have customers that aren't well supported with their equipment. And then I started off by talking about I'm the product hay and forage specialist, so I come and do these presentations and talk to the customers about the different models and configurations we offer within the product lineup. But also I talk about as well as the network we have in the service departments and the technical specialist departments to back up that product support for the customer. And so what I talked about originally is that when customers, everything breaks down. I don't care what color of farm equipment it is, it does break down, and it has its life of use. So, but there are times when things happen in the field and the dealer fixes them or can't fix them at times. And if they can't figure out what the problem is, we do have a process within the CNH and industrial organization that the dealer can contact the technical help desk located in New Holland, PA. And those people there are people that have been in the industry, have worked at dealerships themselves, or came from our engineering department. And they help the dealer work through these issues. However, if the issue cannot be resolved for that process, then the dealer will be helped out by a person in the field, a territory service manager, which will work with the dealer, go visit the customer, and help try to figure the issues out they have. And then it goes to a next level as well, up through the organization until we get resolution of the issue. So I could say everybody sells product. You just need to think about who can support you the best for the products you buy.
Sure, and we've heard that from our customers too. Is New Holland over the years, they've really stepped up, making sure that when you're out there for your first cut, that you're out there with your hay equipment. If something happens, that of course you're going to reach out to Apple's first, your local dealer. We're going to have our remedies, and if it's something that we haven't ran across before, then there's a process then that New Holland has in place to make sure that somebody will know the answer to make sure that you can get back into your field, get back to cutting and into making sure you're getting your bales, getting them wrapped, whatever else you need to do. And one thing, Garen, too, that you mentioned is there are some changes for 2023. You mentioned that there's something changing for those looking at round balers. What's that?
So for the 450 series round balers, we'll start out with the utility lineup. So the utility lineup round baler, we have the 450 utility round baler. Now we have the 450 utility plus round baler, 4x5 bale chamber baler, variable chamber baler. It's has some of the common components of a 450 utility, but also we've improved it by putting the net wrap system off of the 450 series round balers, roll belt series round balers, as well as we've put a different tailgate on. The belts are wider and closer together for less leaf loss, less crop loss, and well as it's got the rotary style feeder now, so the help feeding of the crop. So as we talk about the 450 Utility Plus, if anybody's ever remembered a 648 round baler from back about 25 years ago, It's basically a 648 brown baler, but it's a dry hay only baler. It's not the 648 silage special brown balers. It's very similar now to a 648 dry hay round baler.
Okay. And many might remember that was a really well built baler.
Yeah.
Had a lot of good reputations. It's good to know they got something comparable that's back.
Yep. And then from there we go up to the 450 roll belt series, 460 roll belt series balers. There hasn't been really many changes from the model year 22 to the model year 23 on those round balers. The only thing that did change is in-cab density standard on those models now. So all those balers will be in-cab density. So you can adjust the density of the core and adjust the density of the outer section around the core from the cab of the tractor.
Right. And that's something that you talked about too, is bale density that New Holland's known for. Of course, the more dense your bale is, the less bales you have to deal with. The more dense the bale is, the less oxygen that is not in the bale, which means that it's less likely to spoil. And it also means less that you have to move, more fuel saving. So all in all, it's kind of how does the slogan go? Happy cows make happy milk.
Yep.
Is that what the cat from California? Is that what it is?
It sounds about right.
It sounds something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
It can move over to Bryant. You were talking about Harvest Tec, and I guess what is Harvest Tec?
Yeah, well, appreciate it, Kent, and it was a pleasure visiting the last couple days in Mechanicsburg and Washington Courthouse here, and yeah, I was able to talk a lot about the crop saver hay preservative we supply through CNH Parts, and unique area of the country here in Ohio with a lot of challenging drying conditions. So just providing some solutions for the hay growers here, mostly the small square and round baler operators that we had in attendance. Really strong hay prices this year from last year and well going into 2023. Guys are getting premium for premium quality alfalfa and grasses, but if they can't produce a premium quality, if they're fighting moisture and ultimately having some heating of their hay in their stack, well, it's a detriment, and they're not able to demand the high premium prices that guys are getting. So as the supplier of the New Holland Crop Saver, it's just been a great opportunity to come here to Apples and support our largest Ohio preservative dealer.
Sure, and I know whenever you present, people have a lot of questions because a lot of them have very picky customers when it comes to their hay, whether it's the horse folks or those that are just really, they have buyers that are concerned what's in the hay. And so it sounds like it's a pretty safe product for those in the horse industry, for those that have some of the regulations that what they can have.
Yep, absolutely. So the Crop Saver is a buffered propionic acid, and a lot of guys hear the word acid and very concerned with what it might do to the sheet metal on their balers and other corrosion issues, but it truly is a buffered product with a pH of 6, so very safe on all the equipment. But as far as the propionic, it's a naturally occurring organic acid found in the gastrointestines of horses, found in the rumen of cows. So it's perfectly safe for all livestock. And for any customers that might be entertaining the idea of using Crop Saver in their operation, we have plenty of information on the safety of the product for any livestock, sheep, cows, or the equine industry.
Okay. And you said at 6, pH 6. I'm trying to remember. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember from junior high science. Isn't rainwater like a 7?
Rainwater is actually a pH of 5.8.
5.8,
so
okay.
It does have a little acidity to it, but when guys are finishing up baling for the day and allow the last little bit of hay to wipe across their baler pickups, wiping it clean, you're not going to find any major corrosion issues. You get a little bit of shininess to the metal, but again, not going to damage the baler or any other equipment that the product is coming in contact with.
Sure. Yeah. Well, if you said it's that's 5.5 for rainwater, and you said this is a 6, I mean it's pretty much identical then. So that
you are correct. Now there's obviously some no special handling requirements to it, but still common sense. I mean, we are dealing with a product that is a registered pesticide here with the US EPA and every state that we sell into. Because it is applied on the baler in the field, we are a registered pesticide. But just like any other pesticide usage on the farm, there's just general common sense involved when handling.
Okay. And of course, if they want to learn more about Crop Saver with Harvest Tech, you guys are out there if you just Google it and look it up. But it's a product that we've seen has been increasing, especially said with weather conditions. Last year was dry. You know, we didn't move as much Crop Saver because the crops was dry. But when it's wet, like it was 2 years ago, it can be a huge money saver in the end, having spoiled.
It's so
spoiled
true.
hay.
Yes, it is an additional input cost, but for guys that are really focused on hay quality, when you can bale at 22% moisture versus 14% moisture, obviously you're going to gain more efficiencies, but ultimately you're picking up an additional 24 points of relative feed value. So whether you're sending your hay samples into a lab or maybe you're just selling on an overall appearance, and maybe you can avoid some sun bleaching for your small square bales being sold into the horse industry. There's a lot of value to it, and but like I said, it is an additional input cost, just a low cost insurance policy. And when guys are baling upwards to most guys are going to quit baling around 21-22% moisture. You're looking anywhere from a $4 to $5 per ton input cost. So again, a very cheap insurance policy for an operation that is trying to sell a premium product.
Sure. And it's something you said that you can use year after year. So you can buy it, you don't need it, you can put it away, and it should be good to use again next year if we end up having a dry spring.
Absolutely. There's no shelf life to it, keeping the product sealed up in the container, and it's not going to freeze. So another plus is you don't have to winterize any applicator that you may have on your baler. And for additional applicator, chime in on that, but additional applicator information, we were talking today to some different size operations. A couple guys in only 30, 50 acre operations, and just a low-cost electronic applicator was something that they were interested in. But for those larger operations that really want to manage that input cost of Crop Saver, the fully automatic kits are available for the small square round baler and the large square baler operations out there.
Okay. Well, thanks, Brian. And yep, you can look it up, get more information about Harvest Tech. You just look it up on Google. Take a look. We'll move over to you, Wayne.
You bet.
You bet. You're done texting. You're good?
We're rolling.
So Wayne, I know you've been with C&H Parts for quite a while now, right?
Yes, I since 2009.
Okay. So on your end, coming to these clinics, what are some things that you kind of get things that are takeaways from the customers you talk with?
Well, first of all, it's just always a pleasure just get invited and be around your customers. And I have a small farm myself and raise some beef cattle, and so there's some ways I can connect to your customers, that things that I experience back at home that they run into. Promoting the value of an applicator on the hay. But I like to also really promote just safety, making sure the equipment is safe and ready to roll when you get to the field. And also with that, inspections, that whether the customer does it themselves or your dealer service shop. These windows to bale hay often get pretty tight. A lot of these folks have a full-time job during the week, so maybe they're a weekend farmer that, we mow hay on a Thursday night or a Friday and want to bale on Sunday. So you don't want to go to the field and your disc buying doesn't work, and you got to chase parts or something. So it's getting those inspections done early in the off season. Right now, I know Apple has some promotion and C&H has some promotions to get that stuff looked at here in the off season. But I just like being around the customers and seeing what operations they have and how I could benefit them or CNH Parts could benefit them.
Okay. And I guess on the parts side, as we're getting into planting season, if you're getting into hay season, are there any changes for CNH Parts that we should be aware of, or?
I don't know of any major changes that would affect the customer right now. It's just we do have some promotions that are quarterly. So there are a few promotions that will expire at the end of March that can be found on the Apple Farm Service website that you've been promoting. And there'll be another set of promotions come in April. But from customer-facing changes, there's really none currently. It's just promoting the new product that maybe Garen has, or taking some of the older products and putting some update kits on it to replicate some of the new factory fit stuff.
Okay. Now, I'm going to finish with one question that's for all of you guys, kind of go around, because a major part of when we've had these clinics is people want to do walk-arounds on equipment to get an idea of what things to look at on their baler, on their mower conditioner, on their hay tools, just making sure they have all of their T's crossed, their I's dotted, going out to the field, anything service-wise they need to look at. And you guys have been doing a lot of these clinics, so you guys are very familiar with what common things are as we're going around looking at equipment with customers. So question for you, and I'll ask each of you, what would you say the number one thing when customers come for the service side that they learn that they need to do on their hay equipment? What about you, Garen?
I think the first thing is the net wrap pull test to set the brake tension on your net wrap. That's pretty key to have done. It doesn't matter what roll net you're using, whether it's a CNH branded net or an aftermarket net company, but each net wrap's made a little bit differently, and it runs through the baler a little bit differently. So, and not all net wrap is the same width, and it's not all centered on the spool that it comes in. So you need to get the net wrap centered in the baler, the bale chamber. I was talking to customers, an easy way to do that is maybe strike a line right on the edge of the bale chamber coming up to the net wrap chamber. Strike a line with a paint marker or something like that. So if you have employees that don't normally load net or something like that, you can easily see if the net wrap's being injected is centered on the spool tube correctly, as well as do the net wrap pull test, and that sets the brake tension. If you have too loose of tension on the brake, your net wrap's not going to be very tight on the bale. However, if it's too tight, you're going to be having problems, and your net wrap's going to be breaking before it even gets onto the bale and causing some problems. So it's all in the operator's manual. I know that's a thing some people don't overlook, but I encourage people to use their operator's manuals, put thumbprints, dog tag them, whatever you want to do and that tells us that you're using the operator's manual. So, and the key thing is to, like Wayne talked about, safety. And when you're doing those net wrap pull tests, you do need a scale. And I suggest you probably go on some online, whatever, you get a scale, a pull scale that has max peak load, and it holds that load to try to watch a fish scale spring back and forth. As you're pulling on that net wrap, it can be a little bit cumbersome at times. So in each, like I say, look at your operator's manual. Each net wrap's company has a different pull force, and find one that works for you pretty well.
Okay. What about you, Wayne? Anything you've seen?
I just safety. As I've been in a couple farm accidents myself, is just check the PTO shaft, the shields, grease the U-joints, change the oil in the gearboxes. SMV sign is visible, clean, reflective, and a simple thing is just checking your wheel bearings and your lug bolts. No one needs a wheel going down the road. So those are some things I feel are sometimes overlooked. That an extra hour of torquing your lug nuts and pulling the dust caps off your wheel bearings and checking the tightness there is a worthwhile time.
Okay. Yeah, very, very good point. Bryant, anything else you want to add?
I'll be a little bit more specific for those customers of ours that are running our fully automatic kits, that are Cadillac applicators. Like Wayne said earlier, very small time very small window of opportunity for making good quality hay. And a lot of the times we'll take service calls on electrical. And if our applicators are not getting a good voltage from a dying tractor battery, just a weak battery, we will not be able to give an accurate moisture. We will not be able to apply a preservative. And we don't need any disgruntled customers out there because their tractor battery is getting weak. So check connections on electrical. A lot of the times the tractors are disconnected from balers over the winter months, and when you're hooking it up, make sure you've got good drawbar connections and no splices and harnesses, good locking nuts, connections on our tractor harness to our applicator harness on the battery. So I'm all about electrical and good proper voltage.
Okay.
That goes as well on the roll belt series round balers. Through the years, we've learned that customers hook up, they had a baler that didn't have electronics on it. And then they go hook it up to their tractor, whether it's an old 1066, older 1066, or whether it's a T6 tractor, New Holland T6 tractor. If you have a alternator that is marginal and batteries that are marginal, you're going to have some issues with the electrical system, and it's going to be throwing fault codes on the monitor, and you're going to be working with the dealer trying to get it resolved, and they're going to come out and start changing piles of stuff on the baler. But they might also have to start talking to you about your batteries, replacing the batteries on the tractor, replacing the alternator on the tractor. And that may resolve your issues up front, as well as hook directly to the batteries with electricals. Don't go to the power port in the cab because you will get some amperage drop there. So we do supply a harness that goes directly to the battery, and then that'll resolve your issues that you have any for the amperage drop across the connectors.
Okay. Yeah. Very, very good points. Very good points. Well, gentlemen, I really do appreciate the time you guys spent with us with the clinics, and then also with speaking to us with Apple Farm Chatter. So I wish all of you and all of our customers, all those getting ready for their first cut, the best of luck as you guys get out there.
Thank you for listening to Apple Farm Chatter. If you haven't, subscribe today. Want more from Apple Farm Service? Like us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok, and check out our website, applefarmservice.com. Happy farming from your friends at Apple Farm Service and Apple Farm Chatter.